Creating multi-step equations. The objective of this video is to create a multi-step equation that models a real-world scenario. So first we want to recall lesson 3 and 5, where we remember the key words that we use in math word problems. So words that indicate addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Some of these words are listed in the diagram below, but you can also look back at your lesson 3 and 5 resource. Next, when we are doing this type of problems, we want to kind of break it down into steps. So step 1 is to actually read the problem to figure out what do you know and what you need to find out. So you might want to underline the question, circle important information. Then you want to make a plan. So you can draw a picture, try and use a number line, try to write an equation, try and figure out something on how you can solve the problem. Then you actually want to solve the problem. So carry out your plan. Solve the equation, then use complete sentences to actually answer the question. The last step is you want to check your work. Does your answer make sense? Did you actually answer the question? And maybe use a different strategy to check your answer. So, step 1, read the problem. So Gabriel is buying a pair of AirPods that are on sale for 2/3 of the original price. Gabriel uses a $25 gift card. The total cost that he has to pay before taxes is $115. So we want to know what the original price of the AirPods is. So step 2 is now to make a plan. So I'm going to try and write an equation. So I'm going to use the letter X to represent original price. And I see that I paid 2/3 of. Of is a keyword for multiplication. So I'm going to take 2/3 of X. And I know that the total price is $115. Now I just have to figure out what's happening with that 25. So Gabriel is using a $25 gift card, so meaning this is not factored into the amount of money that he has to pay. So we are taking that away. So now I'm going to carry out my plan by solving. So I'm going to solve this two-step equation. So we're left with 2/3 X is equal to 140. And then I'm going to multiply by this inverse to get rid of this fraction. So X can be by itself. So X is now equal to, in order to multiply fractions, you multiply top with top, bottom with bottom. So 140 times 3 is 420. 2 times 1 is 2. So this is going to give me 210. So now I'm going to check my work. So I am saying that the original price of the AirPods is $210. So I'm going to write a statement saying this: the original price of AirPods is $210. And that makes sense because if they were on sale, it makes sense that we're paying less for it. So here is another problem. Sienna has read 2/3 of her book over the weekend. On Monday, she reads 22 more pages. If she has read 220 pages altogether, how many pages does the book have total? So we want to figure out the total pages left. So I'm going to make a plan by figuring out an equation. So I'm going to let X equal number of pages. So we read 3/4 of the book, which is the total number of pages, over the weekend. And then we read an additional 22 more pages. In total, she has read 220 pages altogether. So we want to figure out what X is, which is the total number of pages. So now I'm going to solve this equation. So I'm going to subtract both sides. So I'm left with 3/4 X. 220 minus 22. So 198 multiplied by this inverse on both sides. Again, remember top with top, bottom with bottom. So 198 times 4 over 3, which equals 264. So it makes sense, because Sienna has not finished reading her book, that there are more pages than pages she has read altogether. So I am going to now write a statement. There are 264 pages in the book. So a store sold 3/5 of its shirt inventory over the weekend. On Monday, 10 shirts were returned. So now the inventory has increased because they have more shirts. They have 62 shirts in their inventory. How many shirts did they have originally? So here you have to stop and think about a little bit, because even though there are 3/5, the store sold 3/5 of its shirt inventory, we actually want to know how much they have in their possession. So if they got rid of 3/5, there are 2/5 left over. So I'm going to let X represent the number of shirts. So there are 2/5 shirts in the inventory. And then on Monday, 10 shirts came back. So we added 10 more shirts to our inventory, and there is a total of 62 shirts. So now I can go ahead and solve. So I'm left with 2/5 X equals 52. Again, multiply by this inverse. And we do top with top, bottom with bottom. So 52 times 5 is 260 over 2. So that gives me 130. So the store had 130 shirts. Now you try and solve this problem by reading through the problem, creating a plan, solving, and then checking to see if your answer makes sense. Then press play to see if your answer is correct. Pause your video now. So we spent half of our allowance, so half of X, and then we also wasted another $4.75. So if the total money I had were $5, that is my equal to. So now I'm going to solve this equation. So when I solve, I end up with $19.50. So it makes sense that he spent more. So I'm just going to walk through to see if this is actually making sense. So if I'm spending half of $19.50, then I'm left with $9.75. From those $9, I am taking away the $4 I spent, $4.75 I spent in the food court. So then it does make sense that my answer is $19.50, because I'm left with $5. So this is a process of showing my work to check to see if this made sense.